Russian oil. But that's not all that Ukraine pulled off during its September 7th airstrikes. Ensuring Russia had no time to toast the so-called success of killing yet more Ukrainian civilians and landing a direct hit on a government building, Ukraine also hit Kursk. You may remember Kursk. In August 2024, Ukraine launched a counter-invasion into this Russian border oblast that saw it become the first country to take Russian territory since the end of World War II. Russia eventually pushed Ukraine out of Kursk, mostly, but the region has been a consistent target for Ukraine ever since. On September 7th, Ukraine hit it again. In addition, successful hits on the locations of the occupants' personnel and logistics warehouses of the Russian military units in the Kursk region of the Russian Federation have been confirmed, the General Staff's Telegram post said, noting that as with the refinery strike, the results of the fire damage caused by these drone attacks are still being confirmed. Perhaps the extent of the damage is secondary to the targets that Ukraine took out. Supply depots in Kursk are likely being used to provide Russia's troops in the Sumy Oblast with what they need to carry out assaults there. Take out the supply depots, along with the personnel facilities, and Ukraine weakens Russia's assaults on its own territory. Ukraine's revenge was complete, and Russia's oil facilities suffered. We mentioned earlier in the video that we'd come back to Ukraine's constant strikes against Russia's oil refining capacity. Though Russia's refineries have been a target for Ukraine ever since it started conducting deep strikes back in 2024, August has seen it ramp up these strikes to an astounding degree. Ilsky was far from the first, and it won't be the last refinery that Ukraine hits. There has been an entire wave, with these strikes having devastating consequences for Russia's refined oil industry. On August 26th, United 24 Media published a report on Ukraine's August refinery strikes up to that point, noting that they'd impacted at least 17% of Russia's refining capacity. As with Ilsky, Ukraine isn't destroying entire refineries. Its long-range drones, as impressive as they are, simply don't pack the firepower needed to do that. But what Ukraine is doing, again and again, is hitting key parts of the refineries that need to be repaired before Russia can get those refineries up and running again. It's the repairs that are causing Russia so many problems. As the New Voice of Ukraine reported in July, Russia was already struggling to repair its oil refineries thanks to Western sanctions making it more difficult to purchase the parts needed for those repairs. Scheduled maintenance, which Russia's refinery owners have to conduct annually, is now being combined with unexpected repairs needed due to Ukraine's strikes to create a massive backlog. Ukraine doesn't need to destroy entire refineries. It just has to keep forcing Russia to shut those refineries down with enough damage to force repairs that Russia is finding increasingly difficult to make. By the end of August, TradingView reported that Russia's total offline oil refining capacity stood at 6.4 million tons, which represents a 65% increase over earlier projections based on predefined maintenance schedules. That's the point of Ukraine's drone strikes. They force Russia to deal with repairs it otherwise wouldn't have to make. The impact is being felt inside Russia, just as much as it's being felt by the Russian troops who aren't getting the fuel they need, as those troops are forced to launch assaults minus the mechanized equipment